Hey guys, what's up? In January this very same year, I did a video called Top 10 Rare JRPGs You Should Play. And what is the difference now? That back then I recommended games that were like, well, good enough for you to play, but things for today have drastically changed. The term is different. These are games that you need to play. Like meaning these 10 JRPGs that you're about to see are a necessity. So welcome to my top 10 rare JRPGs that you need to play. Let's begin! Number 10. Arc the LAT Collection. Arc the LAT Collection is a compilation of 4 games, the first 3 main titles in the series and a spin-off. Unless you go with emulation, there's no way to play these games other than to get in the collection in a physical format, and well, it's around the $100 range, perhaps even more, and quite hard to find. But anyway, I'll leave that to you. Arc the LAT 1 and 2 are the best games in the trilogy, as the spin-off is kinda boring and the third one is mediocre at best. So my true recommendation are the first 2 games, as they are must-plays, rare JRPGs that you need to play, especially if you're a fan of strategy mechanics. Games like Fire Emblem and Shining Force carve the way for these 2 underrated titles. Something that you can clearly see right now on the gameplay footage. Now the first game is quite short, so you'll be over in 10 hours or so. And its direct sequel, story connected and all, it's much longer and it's the best in the collection in my opinion. If you can get these 2 games somehow, do yourself a favor and play them. They're no masterpieces, but they sure are guaranteed to give you a decent, tactical role-playing experience. Number 9. Soul Blazer. Soul Blazer is a top-down action RPG where you take on several types of monsters as you make way through dungeons and mazes. All of this is required for your character to save villages and rebuild them, since the souls of their citizens are trapped within the monster lairs. Little by little, you will start rescuing them, and they will start reconstructing their town so you can buy stuff, talk to them, and listen to their advice. It's not exactly a story-driven RPG, since the gameplay mechanics, although slightly repetitive but alluring and competitive as well, are what's gonna draw you in. It was developed by Quintet, the same company who did Illusion of Gaia and Terranigma, also on the Super Nintendo, although the latter was only released in Japan and Europe. Soul Blazer is a great game, exclusive to the platform and sadly with no other way to play it but there, emulation or not. In any case, I think it's a forgotten classic and a rare JRPG that you need to play. Number 8. Lord of Magna Made in Heaven. Okay, well, since it's a game for the 3DS and that's still a modern system, this game isn't exactly rare, but more like underrated and overlooked. I'm glad I included this on the list since I've only covered it a couple of times before and I think it deserves more attention. It's totally a hidden gem in my opinion. The game plays like a harem, with your average dude trying to run an inn that he inherited from his family. Little by little he starts getting caught up in this bizarre plot revolving around power for girls he keeps on finding. Yeah, you'd think this is a fan service game, but nope, it isn't, and I say this because it definitely sounds like one. But I'll leave that to your imagination. The battle system here is quite addictive to play and simply fantastic. It plays in between a strategy and a turn-based RPG where you need to accommodate your characters in the right places to launch their attacks. Once that happens, enemies bump into each other, disappearing and causing more damage in the way, sort of like a domino effect. It is a heavily story-driven game, and although it's full of comedy, charm and charisma, it's very interesting to follow. So now you have 2 good reasons to play this excellent title on your Nintendo 3DS. Number 7. Super Robo Tyson OG Saga Endless Frontier. What a name! As one of the most expensive and rarest RPGs on the Nintendo DS, this game sure lives up to its awkward reputation. It's one of the most sexualized RPGs you'll ever see, surpassing even compile hard standards. It was made by Monolith Soft and Bam Presto, which is the owner of this highly unknown and underrated franchise. This game is a spin-off, and it paved the way for popular strategy RPGs Project Cross Zone 1 and 2 on the Nintendo 3DS, but it wasn't the first one with gameplay mechanics like this, most specifically the battle system. Namco vs Capcom never came out of Japan, and it was Monolith Soft's initial idea for it. Endless Frontier takes the reins for that, becoming a turn-based RPG with your characters fighting at the right side of the screen on parties of 3. This is all about making combos to cause more and more damage to your enemies. It's awesome. The plot is science fiction to a laughable extent, but in a good sense, as it is a great comedy that never takes itself seriously. Cosmos from Xenosaga is also a playable character here. If you want to play a game full of boobs, with an amazing and overly innovative battle system, I suggest you give this game a chance. Number 6. Khemia 2 Fall of Alchemy. You already know you need to play the popular Khemia on the PS2 or the PSP, but one that you also need to play is Khemia 2. Also on both systems, although we only got the PS2 version very late in the system's lifespan, which means this is a rare and expensive game. It doesn't matter how you get to play this as long as you do it. 2 stories altogether and 2 main characters to choose from. They're intertwined and they both take place in a school simulator, but plot-wise, they're their own game and missions are completely different. Exploration is done by the purpose of gathering items and defeating monsters, most likely bosses. Battle system is turn-based, revolving around skills and synthesis of all kinds of items through alchemy. It's very fun to play, and it just feels great to plan your little strategies against your enemies. All this by using your characters in a non-stop outburst. I think this game, when it comes to gameplay mechanics, is better than its predecessor. So if that one is already on your list, please add this excellent adventure as well. Number 5. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Raiden Kusunoha vs the Soulless Army, and Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner 2 Raiden Kusunoha vs King Abaddon. Jeez. With names even longer than Endless Frontier, you would expect something as weird as it, but don't judge them both by that. These twins, developed and released separately, are great action RPGs from the Megami Tensei universe of recruiting and summoning demons to aid you in battle. They're both really dark games and adult-oriented as most of the RPGs in this franchise. You take the role of Raiden Kusunoha, yeah obviously, who is a devil summoner working on a detective agency. Your goal is to solve the mysteries revolving around the area, conspiracies and homicides that seem to be connected to a sinister organization. Sometimes you'll go on different quests with lots of fighting involved, sometimes you'll do some investigating here and there. They may get a little repetitious at times, but as the story progresses you'll find out that you want to keep playing them. These two are pretty rare as they are often hard to find, but still at reasonable prices. So if you see any of them, try starting with the first one as the second is a direct sequel to it. Either way, these are 2 great RPGs, rare JRPGs as a matter of fact, that you need to play. Number 4. Ys the Oath in Felghana. Meet the remake of Ys 3, released first on the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis and computer systems. And when I say remake, I mean it. Original version was a very short side-scrolling adventure, whereas here, it's a 3D game, obviously with 2D sprites, redone through and through with an extended story. It starts with a plot that may sound simple at the beginning, with only one town in the entire game, but as it progresses, you find out some twists that give you a refreshing interest. However, this title is all about the gameplay and the abuse of its extremely fast-paced battle system that follows after Ys 6 and Ys Origin. It's also brutally challenging even if you play on normal mode, but there's an easy mode that marks the difference like crazy. It won't be a walk in the park on easy mode, but you'll manage. Also, a very easy mode for those who just want to rush through the game. It's short, it's simple, it's fantastic, and it's a necessity. So yes, this is yet another rare JRPG that you need to play. One that was also released on PC, by the way, so there, now you have several ways to enjoy it. Number 3. Chaos Wars. This is a strategy RPG by Idea Factory, underrated crossover between several of their franchises like Spectral Souls. Oh yeah, it also features characters from Shadow Heart's Covenant, Growlancer 5, and even Gongrave. When I first played this game, I got the feeling it was directed at me, since I am a huge fan of most of those games, so imagine my joy. And I'll say I was not disappointed one bit, since the battle mechanics here are overly addictive. They take place not in grids, but in overall maps where your characters can move around within limited areas. These battles can take a while, but since the fighting is done through combos and joint assaults, they can be very fun and totally rewarding. I swear this is one of the only RPGs I have ever beaten twice in a row with no other games in between. Yeah, I thought it was that good. On a side note, this game is very infamous for having the worst English voice acting ever in a JRPG, but you can turn the voices to Japanese, so it shouldn't be a problem. It's rare, not expensive fortunately, and you, my friend, need to play it. Number 2. Fate Extra. It's been a while since I last talked about this masterpiece on the PSP. Quite rare indeed and very hard to find. Damn it, I'm still looking for it everywhere I go. Do I need to explain why? It's one of those games I've talked about 10,000 times before, but in older videos. It is related to the horrible anime Last Encore that recently came out, but the story-wise, it's far superior. You choose the gender of your character, who is one of the masters in this high school set to win a tournament. There's 3 servant types to choose from, but I've only played it with Saber, which is the normal difficulty mode. Don't know about the others, but I guess I'll find out one day and tell you all about it. Saber isn't the same heroic spirit as the bitch in Last Encore, so even though they look identical, they're completely different characters. It's a dungeon crawler and you navigate through these long, virtual mazes to train your character for a certain period of time. The goal is to make her strong enough to win each of the true battles against the other servants and masters. Battle system is turn-based, very original, playing with a rock-paper-scissors mechanic, but you need to study your enemy's movements and guess their attacks so you can plan yours. It's an obligatory strategy since you choose all your moves in every single turn at the beginning. It can be quite challenging at times, but also extremely addictive. This is by far one of the best titles on the list, and obviously a rare JRPG that you need to play. Number 1. Growlancer Generations. Being a huge fan of the Growlancer series, I found out that I barely talked about this small collection, maybe only 2 or 3 times as a matter of fact. Anyway, I'm including 2 games here, but only because they come together in this generation pack, and I'm talking about the Sense of Justice and the Dual Darkness, also known as Growlancer 2 and 3. Sad to know we never got the first one or its remake on the PSP. These 2 barely made it out thanks to working designs, great strategy RPGs, quite difficult, but once again, they're truly an addiction. The second one is pretty short, we're talking about 15 hours or so, but its engaging battle mechanics played in real-time strategy, as you select your character's actions all the time, will keep you quite occupied from time to time. The third one feels lighter, still brutally hard as well, but since you can navigate the maps freely, you'll enjoy it even more. There's always, and I mean always, different things to do, different conditions to meet in order to beat every single missions of these games, which means they have a huge variety of objectives. Both are story-driven RPGs with great political plots during warfare and strange magics revolving around mysterious rings. Graphics are 2D, more from the PlayStation era, but with beautiful artwork and character design. I cannot stress out enough how much I enjoy these two strategy titles, which are definitely JRPGs that you need to play. So there you have it! 10 rare JRPGs that you need to play. I'm pretty sure you will do everything in your power in order to play these games. It'll be entirely up to you whether they were worth it or not. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and share this very same video, with your friends. See you next time!